Интервенции в образователен контекст. Какво правим в социален център Сотело? Имаме удоволствието с нас да е Изабел София Коста, представител на центъра. Аз ще я представя съвсем накратко. Оставащите презентации са посветени по-скоро на повече практически неща, тъй като партньорите, които са както е Център Сотело, детската градина в България и детската градина в Босна, които са партньори, ще представят част от тяхната практика. Така, аз ще я представя на английски, за да чуе. Sophia, she has a degree in Master in Psychology, specialist in Educational Psychology and in Clinical and Case Psychology. In the last 22 years, she developed her professional activity in three different but complementary axes: clinical, educational, and community, with a particular focus on working with children and young people and their families, favoring a close articulation with all the actors involved. She currently is attending a doctoral program in psychology, and she is developing research with adoptive families. She is researcher in Group for Research and Intervention in Out-of-Home Care and Adoption, Faculty of Psychology and Education Science, University of Porto, Portugal. She also collaborates with the Order of Portuguese Psychologists in orientation of internships and for exercise of the profession. So, Sophia, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to congratulate everyone present, especially all you self-project partners. Special thanks to Nadia for this conference organization and these 2 years of work and common sharing. So, as my institution is one of the partners of the EU Self project, I will share some of the work carried out by Centro Social Sotelo, particularly by our kindergarten. I'm going to do this presentation, but we are a team. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Isabel.
They may stand.
If you want, you can join me. No? Okay.
Surprise.
This presentation is divided into 3 parts: a brief description of CSS, some considerations about socio-emotional skills development, namely the theoretical concepts that guide our work, and finally our practices. Who we are. CSS is a non-governmental organization formally founded on the 25th of April 1976. It was created by a local group of residents which aimed to make a change in the community, especially in the educational and family support responses available for local young children. At present, CSS develops its activity in the Oporto district in early childhood youth education, the elderly, and social and community intervention. It has 110 permanent workers and several people who benefit from occupational programs to support professional insertion and various professional and academic internships. It also has around 1,800 members. Our mission is to meet the legitimate needs and expectations of the community, promoting equality, participation, cooperation, and solidarity. Thus, CSS has statutory objectives to support family in the education and protection of children, promote well-being of the elderly, and respond to the community's needs through typical social responses and social intervention projects. These are our principles and values: equality, participation, cooperation, solidarity, respect for difference, quality, rigor, co-responsibility. CSS develops its activity in 3 different areas. Focusing on childhood and youth, it provides nursery, preschool, and extra-school occupational programs for children from 4 months to 14 years. CSS supports 322 children. In terms of support for the elderly, it promotes the responses of the daycare center, social center, and home support service. CSS also develops community intervention projects focusing on problems of the local community identified as priorities such as unemployment, poverty, social exclusion, psychosocial risk of children and young people in situations of social vulnerability, school failure, dependencies, disability, aging, and isolation of the elderly. Preschool education is distinct from the other study cycles in Portugal. Throughout the school year, the preschool curriculum holds guidelines and orientations of the areas to be developed: personal and social training, expression and communication, and world knowledge. However, it is the responsibility of educators to promote experiences that allow the achievement of these acquisitions and the other knowledge and skills. Regarding the socio-emotional domain, there are no specific guidelines. However, it is evident that it is a domain that cuts across the areas defined in the preschool curriculum. This is a conceptual framework of reference for the promotion of social skills through interpersonal development and promotion of positive relationships with others, emotion skills through the advancement of interpersonal development such as self-knowledge and self-regulation, and also academic skills as knowledge learning associated with social and emotional growth. Our practices. At CSS, it is considered that educators should be aware of the various theoretical models for preschool education and be able to extract from each the information and methods they consider most useful and enriching for their practices. The educational practice is based on the use of methodological procedures, which in turn are based on the construction of both knowledge and the development of the teaching-learning process. The educational process is built up through a close relationship between families, children, and the educational team, where the child assumes the leading role. I will briefly present 3 models that are the basis of the practices of the educational team. I scope. This model sees the child as an active learner who gets the most out of the activities he/she plans, develops, and reflects upon. Active learning, the fundamental pillar of the model, is defined as learning in which the child, through its action on objects and its interaction with people, comes to understand the world. Reggio Emilia. This model advocates that children learn through their 5 senses and all possible tools: body, word, and thought. All these influences how children construct identity and knowledge, allowing them to interpret the environment around them. In this way, children are encouraged to explore their surroundings and express themselves through their natural language of forms of expression. Participation pedagogy values the experience, knowledge, and culture of children and families in dialogue with professionals' knowledge and culture. This approach values educational environments in which the relationships and interactions enable the development of activities and projects. Educational is based on pedagogical axes that connect theory and practice. This is the 8 axes or learning areas: to narrate, to belong, to explore, to be, to create, to participate, to communicate. All of these models value children's active learning, during which the child's preferences are the guiding thread and basis for the educator's work. We nurture a pedagogy of participation. We try to listen, involve, and make each child an active learning agent with a voice in the planning of activities and organization of the educational environment. The educators are a mediator who appreciates each actor in the process and tries to harmonize their practices to meet the individual and collective needs of the children. Negotiation is an inherent part of the whole learning process. Beyond the relevance of the work developed in the classroom context with children, the importance of involving the child's immediate context, especially their families, should also be highlighted. A close relationship with them allows us to meet and to facilitate the spotting of children's potential difficulties, disabilities, and delays. To this end, CSS has an initiative called Come Spend a Day with Us, in which the children's parents throughout the year can spend a day in the institution and get to know the routines and work done with their children. CEL is transversal to all curricular areas, as we said, given the importance and recognition of CES in the global development of children. The educational team felt the need to implement new approaches with children for the school context. Since 2015, CSS has had yoga practice weekly. Breathing and relaxation techniques and expression techniques, dance, art, music, are worked on in groups and individually, enabling the experience of moments of belonging and group sharing. More recently, we were invited to implement the DOPI program with our children. DOPI is based on children's story Take the Leap with DOPI, where the protagonist is a kangaroo who intends to influence others through his body, language, history, and way of life to be healthier, more positive, and more balanced. DOPI feeds on feelings. The more DOPI identifies and expresses its feelings, the stronger and more energetic he becomes. When others share their feelings with him, the stronger and more energetic DOPI becomes. DOPI consists of 10 sessions of 90 minutes each, which should take place regularly. This program promotes dialogue, interaction, and personal and social development using a variety of active participation methodologies and different non-formal education tools: group dynamics, games, children debates, role plays, individual reflection. These children are expected to become more competent in overcoming challenges and meeting goals throughout their development, and more aware of their skills and strengths by exploring their potential. DOPI works resilience, empathy, emotional management, self-knowledge and self-esteem, assertive communication, attention to the others. Some photos of the DOPI implementation. Homogeneous program is at the stage of validation, having already carried out pilot experiences prior to its implementation. It was created by a Portuguese multidisciplinary team like pediatricians and psychologists, with the purpose of helping children and parents, caregivers, to get to know their emotion and body better, realize their interconnection. The program's main goals are the identification, expression, and the regulations of emotions. 4 stories are explored throughout 17 sessions, dealing with basic emotions: anger, fear, sadness, and happiness, based on group discussion, role-playing, use of puppets, moments of mindfulness, relaxation, and songs. These sessions are supposed to be implemented by preschool teachers once a week for 45 minutes. The program also engages parents, encouraging them to participate in the weekly changeable proposals. Some photos of Imogéneos. As we have already stated, socio-emotional development is worked on a daily basis. Further, you will find 2 more examples of activities. The Affections Week, which allow the children to work on different emotional states, sharing among the group, cohesion, respect, etc., and the World Peace Day. Last week, the community of CSS came together to celebrate the World Peace Day. Children, seniors, staff, and partners, forming a human cord, get together to remember the importance of peace in the world, as well as in the daily life of everyone. In this action, we were supported by police department and a local basic school. Assessment is an integral element and regulator of educational practice. It is up to the educator, as the person responsible for curriculum management, to assess the educational environment, the functionality of the context that he or she organizes, spaces and materials, the methodology and strategies adopted, and their interconnection with educational intentionality. Assessment in this context allows a better understanding of each child, the difficulties and potential, a better understanding of how they perceive the world around them and interact with it. Other actors are involved in this process and have a fundamental role, namely parents and guardians, special educational teachers, other professionals, the community, and the child. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions to Sofia? No?
No.